What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. David Terrell Green here, aka Day Marino. Hey, if you guys are here for the very first time and you like what you see, go on down to that subscribe button. God, I hate doing that intro. God, you guys know what to do. How long has YouTube been out? YouTube is going to be around like 100, 200 years after we're dead, okay? Folks gonna know what to do. All right, so we good. All right, enough talk, let's talk. Enough talk, let's talk. Today we're going to be talking about Yasuke, the newest anime to release on Netflix underneath the studio Mappa, created by LaShawn Thomas with music by Flying Lotus. Here's a little tidbit of information. So Yasuke was actually supposed to be a live action movie starring the late great Chadwick Boseman. Obviously, with his passing, they decided to bring this to Netflix to create as an anime. Another interesting thing of information is that Yasuke is actually a real person. If you look him up, you can find photos of him. He served underneath Nobunaga. Like, this person, he's real. This show, it came out as of April 29th, 2021, and boy, is it disappointing. I will be going into some spoilers, so if you don't want to get into spoilers, then go somewhere else. Please, respectfully, that sounded really mean. I apologize. If you don't want to get into spoilers, click another video. That was a better way of saying that. I apologize. We get into the beginning of the story with our man Yasuke here. He hasn't done any type of service with a blade in 20 years. It's been a while. He's had a troubled past. That stuff haunts him, waking up in night sweats, all of that. And he's now a boatsman in a small little village. This is where he meets a family, a mother, son, and an adopted daughter. And the adopted daughter's not feeling too well. She's sick. Turns out she has supernatural powers that get revealed at the end of episode 1, and they go out to the doctor to get her healed, to make her feel better. But there's people, multiple people, who want to kill her, right? Now that sounds like a pretty, it's a basic plot line, but you can do a lot with it. But they didn't do a lot with it. That's the problem. They get into the this, but they don't get into the why. What does that mean? For example, this girl right here, this little girl, has superpowers, right? She has supernatural abilities, but they don't get into the how she got the supernatural abilities. They don't get into the why these other people want these supernatural abilities. There's a protagonist, which I thought was going to be the main protagonist for the next 6 episodes, who is a corrupt preacher from the Catholic Church. He wants to take this girl, distribute her to European cultures so that he can finally be able to take over as like this new cult leader of the world. He enlists 4 mercenaries to track her down and bring them to her, right? Okay. Good setup, right? But they don't go anywhere with it. It's almost kind of like this anticlimactic story for this guy. I feel like if you're going to add somebody, then you need to stick with that person, especially if you only have 6 episodes to tell a story. We get into Yasuke's background, which gives us a fair amount of information, but we don't get into anything else. We don't get into why this girl's power is so important to these villains. Because multiple villains want her, obviously. Because as soon as they kill off the corrupt preacher, here we go. Here comes another villain. A villain that literally doesn't even last for a full episode. Because there's a huge power, like a daimyo type power. A daimyo type power that is enlisting people to go and try to kill this girl and bring the power to her. They don't explain the background for the mercenaries that they send out. Because, side note, after that corrupt preacher is dead, those 4 mercenaries, they leave just for more people to work for bad guys to go after them. I just feel like if you're going to get into that stuff, you need to pick a specific antagonist. Like, if the bad guy is going to be the corrupt preacher, let it be the corrupt preacher. If the corrupt preacher is going to work for the daimyo, then we need to establish that throughout the story. The show doesn't really know what it wants to be. That doctor that they were supposed to be taking her to, turns out he's like a trainer. And this man has supernatural abilities, and he knows how to master his supernatural abilities. And he's going to help the little girl master her supernatural abilities. But none of that happens. They talk about how, he's gonna help you control your power, just for a huge war to break out and her to be instantly good at her power. You talk about it, but you never show it because you're too busy trying to get that final, climactic fight to happen. Stories like this require a thing called pacing, and this pacing is nowhere to be found throughout the show. This little girl has supernatural abilities. Where did they come from? Why do these people want it? Why is it so important that we get her? It just was like, oh, we're gonna get her because she's important. Why is she important? Ah, well, because she is. She is. She just is. Just watch the freaking show. But obviously you don't want to treat your audience like they're idiots, but at the same time, you need to have some type of context so that the audience can begin to draw their own conclusions. So when you just have something that's just like, it's here just for the sake of being here and just deal with it, how are people supposed to connect? How are people supposed to resonate and understand what the main objective is? We're talking about this girl who needs to get special training to hone her abilities, just for her to show up and not get any training at all, just for her to naturally be good to defeat the daimyo. They try to bring in some of the other people who used to work for Lord Nobunaga. One of them did not like Yasuke at all, was hella racist towards him in the past, and was basically trying to set him up for failure. They bring him in at the 5th episode. Him and Yasuke are supposed to have this big fight, which ends in about 5 minutes. If you were going to bring someone in from the past who was basically reincarnated by the daimyo, don't you think that you should have spent more time on that character instead of just some random preacher guy that you were gonna kill off in episode 3? It would make a lot more sense to have that character wreaking havoc trying to get this girl than just a random person that's not going to serve to the plot in any way, shape, or form near the end of the story. That would make a lot more sense, right? So when they have their final fight, it means more when Yasuke defeats him, right? This show is all over the place. You have good concepts, but you don't stick with one. Look at a character like Naruto. That character didn't come out the woodwork being able to master Rasengan just like that. There was a process to that. There was training that went with that. But if you add Naruto in episode 1 not being able to do a jutsu properly, to episode 6 he's able to handle a Rasengan shuriken, people are gonna be like, whoa, what's going on? Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for all sorts of new videos. Follow me on IG, follow me on TikTok, my second YouTube channel. All of that is in the links below. Hey, what did you guys think about Yasuke? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What do you think they could have done better? Let me know also down below. My name is David Terrell Green. You rocking with the best.